The unsolved cold case of Blonde Dolly has haunted The Hague for over 70 years, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and enduring mystery. Sybille Niemans, the entrepreneur and businesswoman known as Blonde Dolly, mingled with the elite until her story was tragically cut short on a cold winter night in 1959, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Despite an extensive investigation, police were unable to uncover any leads, and the case went cold. Sybille Niemans' killer vanished without a trace for over 7 decades. But the search for the truth never stopped. Family and friends refused to give up hope and continued to search for answers. Over the years, there have been many theories about who killed Blonde Dolly. One in particular focuses on Neimans' Blue Book, a ledger she reportedly used to keep track of her wealthy clientele. Police have never released the book to the public, but many believe it holds the key to solving her case. Can we find answers to the lingering questions of Sybille Niemans' murder by taking a closer look at her story? There is still hope that this case can be solved, that Sybille Niemans' killer can be brought to justice, and that the truth can finally be known. Join us as we tell the story of the Blonde Dolly cold case and the never-ending search for truth. It is a story about the power of secrets, justice, and the strength of the human spirit. Will the truth ever come out? Only time will tell. Blonde Dolly, born Cibil Alida Johanna Neimans in 1927, navigated a challenging childhood. With her mother hospitalized for a chronic illness, Cibil and her brother were placed in a Zandvoort children's home. They moved back to their father in Amsterdam during the German occupation in World War II, where Cibil clashed with her new stepmother, leading her to leave home at 15. Despite a rocky start and a brief misguided adventure, she returned home, training as a seamstress. By 21, she entered prostitution in The Hague, initially known as Black Dolly, before adopting her iconic blonde persona. 1950 was a transformative year for Cibil. She bought a house, married violist Bodo van den Berg, and immersed herself in the arts and fashion, briefly leaving prostitution for modeling. However, her marriage unraveled, ending in a contentious and drawn-out divorce by 1957. Cibil reverted to prostitution, where she attracted high-profile clients. Her life, marked by various upheavals, met a tragic end in November 1959, under circumstances still shrouded in mystery. On the evening of November 2, 1959, concern mounted when an associate found Blonde Dolly's home eerily silent, with shuttered windows and no response to the doorbell, which was unusual from her normally punctual nature. Alarmed by her dog's howls from inside and failed attempts to reach her, the associate summoned the police. 2 officers, accessing the house through a neighbor's backyard, broke the kitchen window to find themselves in a scene of dormant chaos. Upstairs, in a room separate from where she entertained guests, lay Blonde Dolly on her bed, clad only in a flimsy white camisole, with no visible signs explaining her stillness. An autopsy would reveal she'd been strangled, her life likely snuffed out in the late hours of the previous few days. With the confirmation of murder, police launched an investigation. Robbery was eliminated as a motive after finding Neimans' money and a stash of gold coins had not been taken. The killer had not done this for financial gain. However, the investigation took a turn with the discovery of Dolly's Blue Book, a log of her elite clientele, potentially naming influential and high-ranking figures. Police refused to release the book's contents to the public, fueling speculation of a cover-up and whispers of corruption. Could one of her clients have enough power to have Dolly silenced? Do the pages of Dolly's Blue Book hold the name of her killer? The mystery surrounding Blonde Dolly's Blue Book has fueled a number of theories about her death. Some believe Dolly's influential clientele, who had much to lose if their liaisons became public, had her killed. Others believe she may have stumbled upon information valuable enough that silencing her was seen as a minor sacrifice. The absence of Dolly's Blue Book gives life to the idea that something written within those pages is still important enough to keep secret. Would one of her clients have a motive to murder? According to politician Hans Gualtherier van Wezel, his father, the police commissioner Jan Gualtherier van Wezel, knew who had committed the murder. Van Wezel Sr. would keep a file on the case at home with instructions to destroy it after his death. Some have also speculated that a vengeful client or scorned wife would also be hungry for retribution. Neimans may have had concerns herself. In December 1958, she enlisted the services of a bodyguard named Gerard V. Were these mere precautions for her line of work, or indications of deeper anxieties? However, investigators quickly set their sights on Gerard V, and for a good reason. Sybille Niemans employed a man by the name of Gerard V in December 1958. However, his questionable past and alleged unhealthy infatuation with Dolly raised the suspicion of investigators. According to reports, Gerard V was fixated on her, going as far as informing his family of an engagement between the two. But there was no engagement planned, and Dolly had rebuffed his affections. His obsession was unhealthy and unreturned. However, the most crucial piece of evidence against Gerard was his reported self-incrimination. Immediately after discovering Blonde Dolly's body, police had initially believed she had died of natural causes. Strangulation was determined at a later autopsy. Despite the official cause of death not being established at the time and police denying him a view of her body, it is claimed that Gerard told an acquaintance that Dolly had been strangled. This slip, coupled with his presence at Dolly's home during the removal of her body, led to his arrest. Despite the circumstantial evidence pointing towards him, police faced a wall of uncertainty and were unable to definitively link Gerard to the crime, resulting in his release. The story of Blonde Dolly is one that's tough to shake off. She was a woman who, in her own unique way, was a fixture in the high society of her time, yet her end came not with pomp or ceremony but shrouded in a mystery that's endured for over 70 years. Why was there so much secrecy surrounding her blue book? Here's a ledger, potentially containing the names and motive to kill, and yet it's nowhere to be found. It's like something straight out of a spy novel, and it continues to fuel speculation. And then there's Gerard V, with his own quirks, seemingly head over heels for Dolly, but his story just doesn't add up. He slips up with how she died before it was public knowledge, but the police couldn't pin anything on him. It leaves you thinking, was he just a red herring, or was there more to it? The truth is, Dolly's story hits differently because it's more than an unsolved case. It's about a real person with a life full of ups and downs, dreams, and setbacks. And sure, the glitz and scandal make for a captivating tale, but at its heart, this is about a woman who deserved better, both in life and in memory. Who knows? Maybe advancements in technology or a slip from someone's old, burdened conscience will finally give this story the ending it deserves. But until then, it serves as a reminder of the grit of those who won't let her be just another forgotten headline. So, here's to hoping we eventually get to the bottom of it, for Dolly's sake and for justice, however late, finally having its day.